Hey, Songtown, welcome. I'm Clay Mills with Marty, Dodson. Let's talk today about a big songwriting myth, the one that says you write your best songs when you're writing about something you're going through.
Ooh, I like that.
You've got a good story, and I saw you tell this story the other day, and I was like, I've got that same exact story about one of my big songs, and so that's what made me want to do this episode.
Oh, cool.
Like, I thought we could tell some stories where you started off.
Yeah, I don't know if I've heard yours. So I was riding with Mark Nestler one day, and we were talking about Billy Currington was looking for songs. We both had some success with Billy. And so I said, well, let's write something for Billy. And so I had brought in a new guitar, a nylon string Taylor guitar. So I took it out of the case, and Mark was like, oh, let me see that. So he starts playing this little lick. And I'm like, that's amazing. That should be the intro of the song. And he said, well, before we get started, let's call Jennifer. Well, Jennifer and Mark were getting divorced currently at that moment. I was going through a divorce after being married for 23 years.
Wow.
So we were all three in horrible places. So I'm like, you sure you want to call the woman you're divorcing to help us write this song, this love song were thinking about? And he said, yeah, and Jennifer's an amazing writer. So we called Jennifer. She came, and we
So
wrote.
you're going through divorces,
Yeah.
but you're not trying to write a divorce song. You're not trying to write a breakup song. You're trying to write a love song.
Yeah. And because we wanted to target something for Billy Currington. And
But wouldn't that make the song less real?
no, because what we wound up doing was writing what we hoped to have,
Yes.
not what we were currently going through. So we took the negative stuff that we were currently going through, and we turned it into a love song, essentially to the person that we hoped to find someday.
Yes.
And as it turned out, we all found those people. And so, that song kind of became a self-fulfilling prophecy. In fact, when I met my now wife, I told her I'm in a really bad place. And so we're going to have to take this slow and easy. And essentially I said, you're going to have to let me down easy. And she did. And we've now been married for 12 years.
And the song you wrote that day was called Let Me Down Easy.
Yeah, called Let Me Down Easy. It was the number one for Billy Currington. But, that to me helped me understand, not only do you not have to write what you're going through, you can take what you're going through and turn it into what you hope to have, or you can turn it into looking at what other people have and you admire. There's all kinds of ways you can take what you're going through and write it without having to write it literally. If we'd written literally what we were feeling that day, we'd probably have written a song called I Hate You or something like that.
Well, so your story, I heard this the other day in an article you wrote. So it spoke to me because I went through that with the song, but I never could put into words what was going on. So I'm writing, and that day we show up, me, Shane Miner, Sonny Lemaire, and we're writing this love song, and I'm going through this divorce. And I started getting really emotional as we're writing this happy song. And I couldn't understand why at the time. And you said it so perfectly, is you're writing what you want you writing what you wish your life was like.
Mm-hmm.
And having that, and it's not just that, it's the contrast between how you actually are and what you want that creates that magic.
Mm-hmm.
Let AI do that.
AI cannot do that.
Without it, you could just sit down and write a song about how you wish your life to be in the future, and that'd be great. But if it doesn't have that backdrop of, well, this is horrible right now, but I see this beautiful thing, that's where the magic seems to happen. It's that contrast, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and during that same period, I wrote a song by myself, which I rarely do, and it was called if you don't want me to go, don't be so easy to leave. And it was really, really angry song. And I needed to write that song. And there was value in writing that song. But the beautiful song came out from writing what I wish I had. And almost in a way, writing my way out of what I was in, you know? Because as we were writing that song, I remember thinking that, yeah, like, if I ever fall in love again, this is how it's going to have to happen, you know? So I'm kind of almost writing a prescription or a blueprint for what's going to have to happen down the road for me to be able to fall in love again, because I was in such a hurtful and broken place.
Yeah. And I think there's also some value in escapism. I mean, think about when you're a kid and you're listening to music, a lot of times it's allowing you to escape into another world.
Yeah.
So I remember distinctly going through that period. One of my frequent co-writers, Sonny Lemare, he was like, how do you show up every day and write these songs with what you're going through? He's like, you're putting out fires every single day at home. And he's like, how do you do that? And it's like, these 3 hours of writing is going to be the best part of my day.
Yeah.
Like that, you know, it's, so I think there is value in escapism. So I really don't think you have to write exactly what you're going through.
No.
But it has to be, you have to feel what you're going through. You can't just pretend to be something else. But you have to use it and work through it.
My friend Angelina Presley shared a song with me one time. I think it was on her first record called Tennessee. And I put it in as I was going down the road, and I had to pull off the road because this song was making me cry. And it starts off when I was 3, Tennessee decided my mama couldn't care for me. And it talks about a child going to foster care and the child misbehaving in foster care because they thought they would send them back to their mom if they misbehaved. So they get kicked out of all these foster homes. And I thought, man, there's no way you could know all this stuff unless you've been through it. And it even got to a place where it said, in 2 short weeks, I turn 18. And what'll I do when Tennessee's through with me? And talk about getting kicked out of the foster system. And so I called Angelina. I was like, is this your story? And she said, no, I was a social worker, and that was one of my kids. One of my kids came to me and said, hey, by the way, in 2 weeks I turn 18. What happens when they kick me out?
Oh, no.
And so she was able to use empathy to write someone else's story in a really compelling way. And I said, well, you know, what other songs on the record are really your story? And there was a song called Pain Pills, and it was talking about in her little town, everybody had pain pills.
Right.
And when someone died, you had to leave someone at home to guard their pain pills.
That's awful.
And I'm like, okay, that's got to be true for somebody. You can't make that up. So, oh, yeah, that's how it is at my house. You have to leave a relative at home with a gun to guard the pain pills, or somebody will come steal them during the funeral. You know, so she had an amazing mix on that record of things that she actually lived, but also things that she observed, or that she was, I kind of call it adjacent to. She was adjacent to that story about the foster system, so she could authentically write that.
Right. And so when people go, oh, you write your best songs when you write what you know. Well, that's valuable, but I don't think you have to limit it to what you know. There's a Gordon Lightfoot song, Battle of the Edmunds Fitzgerald. It's about a ship, very famous ship, real life story, went down and all these people died at sea. He was not on that boat.
He was not?
But he wrote a beautiful classic song about that experience as if he was on the boat.
Yeah.
So that song taught me that, no, you don't have to only write what you know. You have to have human emotion in it. He knew what it probably would have felt like to be on that boat. Mm-hmm. But this myth of you can only write what you know and that'll be your best songs, I don't buy that for a second.
There was a country song of the year several years ago called "I Drive Your Truck."
Yeah,
that was just a story that the writers heard about. They heard about a guy losing his brother in the Army, and he would drive his brother's truck around when he wanted to feel close to him. And so they wrote this song based on that story. So there's if we limit what we write to what we're actually going through or we're actually feeling or have felt, we're going to be much more limited than if we are open ourselves up to like, what are other stories we can tell? How can we get inside someone else's story and tell that story? Or how can we take our story and flip it around to what we want or what we wish we felt?
Yeah. Thanks for watching. Leave us some comments. Let us know where you get the inspiration for your songs. Do you write about what you're going through? Do you write other people's stories? Leave us a comment. Let us know.
Peace.
Cheers.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you appreciate the content, hit the subscribe button and help us grow. Shout out to Sweetwater Music. It's where Marty and I get all our musical gear. Great people. We'll see you guys around town. Right on.